Hello there guys, it's Mercy and welcome back to another product review, and today I'll be doing a review on the ASUS ROG Keris ASUS lightweight ergonomic gaming mouse. First, ASUS did not send this to me, my friend did. Shout out to him, I guess. This is his gaming mouse. I'm just here to loan it, try it out for a video and send it back to him, so all of my review will be as honest as I can be. So first of all, let's start with the shape of the ROG Keris, and it is a ergonomic gaming mouse, so not ambidextrous or anything. And the only mouse that I can really compare the Keris to, like a small ergo, is the Skull Mini, but we'll talk about that more later. And the ROG Keris here actually feels pretty good. Here's the measurement on the website, but from my 19x10 hand, I have no problem doing all my grips on this mouse. Fingertip do feel a little bit weird, but claw is fine, and even relaxed palm is really good. I feel like ASUS did a really good job with the shape, not being, it is a small gaming mouse, but the width grip being really wide for this size is actually really good if you have bigger hands. But it's really hard for me to get used to it since I've gotten used to the much more thinner width grip width of the Skull Mini. So aside from that, the shape is amazing. Let's talk about the build quality now. And 65 grams, no perforations. There is slight creaking, but barely any flex noticeable on everywhere. Like, this mouse feels amazing. It's solidly built. It's a really good built gaming mouse. No issues there. Again, 65 grams, no hole, no flex, no creaking. Really solid, really decent. And let's talk about the texture now. And as you guys can see, the texture is different on the half, like different half of the mouse have different textures. The front half will have this kind of PBT texture, and then the back half will have this kind of like ABS plastic. But I get the durable PBT choices. It's very nice, very grippy, and like, you know, PBT won't wear out, won't show fingerprint, won't show oil, unlike the ABS right here. Again, I don't feel like it's an issue when you're gaming. It's there, it's fine. And as a relaxed palm guy myself, it is an issue on the palm where it sometimes become a bit too sticky. But if you're a fingertip where most of your finger will be contacting the PBT texture, there we go, I don't think there will be any issue at all. Speaking about that, I forgot to mention, the shape has something that I feel like needs to be changed on the version 2. It's this side right here, this portion of the mouse where your ring finger will be resting, right? Like this. Can that show it? Yeah, something like that maybe. But that has been an issue for me at the first day of me using it, because as someone who put my ring finger really far front on gaming mouse, I find myself having issue with this ledge right here where my ring finger will be catching in the middle where I was like pressing the right mouse buttons. But once I got used to it, I kind of curled my finger a little bit so I can avoid it, and it was fine. But I feel like it just should go a little bit higher instead of being this far down, so like people can put their hand a little bit more easier on the right side. Next, let's talk about the buttons, and this is like the feature where ASUS mouse in general have over the competition: Hotswap switches. Because if you have switches lying around, or you do modding, right, and you just want to test switches without soldering or anything, this is a really good mouse. They include the Omron Japanese 1 million switch. I will do a sound test later on. Inside the Keris, there's already ASUS ROG micro switches, so 70 million clicks. Very tactile, very light actuation actually. But I feel like coming from the KillGM 4.0 and 8.0, I feel like it's slightly a little bit too light for my taste. Whenever I play Valorant with this, I tend to misclick, or I tend to like click accidentally, you know. It's really hard to get used to it, but once I did, it's a pretty light switch, very good. A bit too mushy for my taste. Maybe that's because I'm used to the clickier nature of the 4.0 and 8.0s. I don't think this is the best switch that you can get in the market at the moment. If this is my main, I'll probably change it to the 4.0s or even the 8.0 because of the Hotswap switches, but it's fine, not a big issue. It's pretty easy to replace anyway. Like these two things out here, I don't like doing it myself at the first because it was kind of weird. So just take like a flat end screwdriver and literally just stab it in and then just pull it out. So now we'll change our screwdriver to a plus sign screwdriver. Mine is using the PH2 because this is a pretty big screw right here. So just unscrew. Okay, now all you have to do is just lift the back and then just pull it out. So now this is the internal of the ASUS ROG Keris. I'm still plugged in, by the way, which I don't think I should be doing, but as you guys can see, the switches is right here, the ROG micro switches. Literally just take it out and then put your new switches in, and you have a different feeling mouse, which is a really good feature. So like, kudos to ASUS. It's really easy to get in, and you don't ruin your perfectly nice feet. This is a very good implementation of the features. Yes. So let's talk about mouse feels. Again, we have a pretty good mouse button and mouse tube. Slight pre-travel, very not noticeable at all in game. It's very good, and you can feel slight post-travel. Feels really good. Scroll up feels very nice. The steps is very pronounced, very good in game, and it's not too loud or too annoying to use while browsing, so really decent there as well. Middle click, very simple, very nice. I love how it feels. It's easier to press than my Skull Mini. And these side buttons have pre-travel on the back, and then slight pre-travel on the front mouse buttons, side buttons, and slight post-travel. But they are just slightly a bit more sheer, but still 100% more better than the side buttons on the Tiger Pulse. And here's the sound test. Alright, so as you guys can hear, the sound test sounds amazing, but again, when you hear the Omron 20M inside the Keris body, it also sounds pretty good. All side buttons sounds very crispy, very tactile, so I have no complaints on the buttons at all. Very good. And like, if you want to change the feel of the mouse, just buy switches. They're very cheap, very easy to change as well. And next, let's talk about the mouse feet. Honestly guys, really good stock mouse feet. Sorry, they give extras on the box. The mouse feels really good. On my OEM topography mouse pad here, it doesn't glide the best, but on my HyperX Fury, it feels really smooth, really fast to use, and like no issue with the glide at all. I feel like this is the mouse that I would be like, you don't have to change it to core pads or Tiger Arts or whatever. The stock feels really good, and the fact that you get extra for this price point is really insane too. So really good mouse feet, really happy with the mouse feet. Talk about the sensor. The wired one, which is the one that I have, uses the 3389, which the wireless one is using the 3335. And for me, you know, I don't really care about wireless at this point, but the 3389 performs really good, just as good as my 3389 on the Skull Mini, the 3370 on my XM1R. Like, top-notch sensor, right? Low liftoff distance, tracking is really good, feels really smooth. It does feel slightly clunkier, but that could just be the weight, you know, the weight difference from Skull Mini with the Keris. But yeah, it does feels pretty good actually. There we go, I forgot to say. So sensor, not an issue for me at all, really decent. But the problem that I have with this mouse is the cable. I don't think it's a bad cable. I don't think it's paracord. I feel like this is more of a thin braided cable, you know, like the back then when paracord wasn't a thing, or it could just be like a very thinly weaved cable, and I don't mind it. On the bungee, it's fine, right? Like it's a pretty light cable, and it's pretty okay, but it's still slightly a bit harder than I would like, but not an issue at all. But if this is my main, I will 100% paracord it. I won't be using it with a stock cable. But again, on the bungee, basically disappears. You can still feel it hitting on like cable drag and all, but again, the cable has a pretty good incline. I forgot to say that the Skull doesn't have that, but I'll paracord this if this is my main. So we have covered the accessories, the feature, the buttons, the sensor. I guess we just comes down to conclusion how I really feel about the Keris coming from a Skull Mini, which I believe is to be a good comparison with this two gaming mouse, well, they're both like small ergo. I played better with the Skull Mini than I do on the Keris. It could be the weight, but I feel like it's mostly the shape. Most of the issue that I really have with the Keris is just this side being slightly too short and the wider width. Again, I'm used to the Skull Mini thinner grip now, but I wasn't too confident with the Keris. I was a bit too clunky. The weight was an issue as well, but the Keris is such a good small mouse contender. Like, you put this beside the Viper Mini and you put this beside the 102 or 305, and I would 100% pick Keris over both of those. This shape, for me at least, I don't think everyone likes this shape, but for me it feels good. So honestly, Keris it could be one of your top mouse, not my top mouse though for sure, but a really decent contender for this price point. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any question you guys have regarding the gaming mouse, leave down comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, dislike if you don't like this style. You know, feedback is feedback, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.